Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 7. We're going to be jumping into the Gauntlet today, and we're kind of expanding on the concept of the Stony Suppressor that we were using in the previous video. I've kind of edited that deck around a bit, and we're going to take it and throw it in the Gauntlet. And kind of the idea there is I fully suspect pretty much everyone to be bringing a copy of Gnar into the Gauntlet, and ideally we can just pick on that selection. And so with the Gauntlet, the way it works, you bring the 3 decks in, your opponent gets to win or gets to ban 1, and then you have to win with your two remaining decks. Then the idea is that we'll just never ban Gnar, and then Gnar should hopefully have a pretty challenging time beating this deck that we're bringing together. And so the same concepts still apply. A lot of the cards are still the same. We're trying to bring together this collection of 2 different concepts, right? The first one being Gnar plays a bunch of terrible units, like the Conchologist, the Loping Telescopes, the guy that make the 1 mana guy that makes the landmark. All of these units are pretty terrible, and if we can just play bigger units than those, then we should be able to take control of the board. And then the only unit that we really have to worry about is Gnar himself. And so our way of trying to do that is through giving our units bonus attack. And so across all of these decks, you're going to see this combination of Vanguard Bannerman and Cytheria. Some of these here, like this one, will have Poppy as additional ways to boost up our units. But that is the kind of idea and goal, is we're not going to come down here and just like start trading. Right, trading with Nardex is pretty shitty, right? I don't want to come down and just trade the Penitent Squire for our opponent's small play, because they're just up the landmark at this point, right? I don't want to be trading Fleet Feather Tracker for their Conchologist, because while we're up a mana, they're up a card. And so that's all in all pretty terrible. And so we're looking to just build up a wide board, drop cards like Vanguard Bannerman, and now our Penitent Squire can pick on all of our opponent's 2/1 and 2/2 units, since she's a 3/3. That expands a little bit further into the usage of Cytheria, right? If our opponent has a board completely full of 1/1s, 2/2s, and Gnar, then if we give all of our units Fearsome, they won't be able to block the majority of what we're bringing in. And so that's kind of like concept number 1. You're going to see that across all of these decks. Concept number 2 is just using Stony Suppressor. This is very good at picking on our opponent's 2/1 units. It stops a lot of the combats. If you put the +1/+1 on this, it now kills all of our opponent's units. And if they're trying to sit around and spend a bunch of value plays on Pokestick, then the Stony Suppressor can get quite a bit of mana advantage. And so this is looking to be the fairly big shutdown card against a lot of the Nard decks as well. It doesn't completely ace their strategy, but if they have to spend an extra 3 or 4 mana across the game, that's just units that aren't coming onto the board, and that should help us snowball our board even further. One of the kind of big concepts I think I've come across with a lot of these Gnar-based decks is they just aren't able to win combats, right? They'll play Troll Chance, they'll play ways to boost health, but the only ways that they're typically dealing damage to you is through generating cards, right? And so they'll try to leave your units with 1 health and then Pokestick them off, or they'll generate like a poison dart off of generate a poison dart off a Conchologist and then use that to kill off your units. And so if you can, push that strategy to be more challenging, whether they're having to spend 3 mana for Pokestick or 2 mana for Poison Dart, or if we just get to open the turn with a Vanguard Bannerman and then just blow away all of our 1 health units, it really combats a lot of what the Gnar deck is bringing to the table. And so, yeah, as we move on, all 3 of these decks are going to be pretty similar. They're all carrying the same core. They're all going to have 3 Fleet Feather Tracker, 3 Penitent Squire, 2 Brightsteel Protector, 2 Honored Lord, 3 Broadwing, 3 Suppressor, 2 Vanguard Sergeant, 2 Defenders, 3 Sergeants, 3 Bannermans. That holds true across all of the decks. All of them also playing 2 Rangers Resolve, 3 Sharpsight, 2 Golden Aegis. And so we will see with this one here, running Poppy Jarvan is going to have 3 Cytherias. We're going to see almost the exact same deck here, playing Lucian Sivir. I did notice that this was Chain Vest, and I fixed it in our deck before we jumped along too far. But these 2 are exactly the same deck, minus the champions. But moving into deck number 3, we are playing Scouts, which we have changed up just a little bit. We take out the Penitent Squires, And then we look to focus a little bit more on some of these go wide / challenger strategies, right? Our challengers are a little bit better with the addition of Misfortune, so that leads us to adding in things like Blinding Assault. We have to focus a little bit more on these kind of go wide board control strategies if we're not playing the Penitent Squire Honored Lord, and so that is also with the addition of Mirai Warden. And then we needed some scouts to hopefully pop off with Quinn. I don't want our only scouts to be Quinn and Blinding Assault, so we have Genvivis in here as well. But with the addition of Genvivi, I feel like it's a little bit too expensive to play 3 Genvivis and 3 Cythrias, and so we're just running the 2 and 2 split, and that allows us to play some of these other cards like the Warden and the Blinding Assault. But otherwise, all the decks are pretty similar, and this is what we're battling with. And so, before we dive on in, you all know what we have to do. We have to go and turn someone premium. We're going to live the pay-to-win lifestyle, and I'm looking to upgrade Ranger's Resolve. This is the big one across all of our decks. We're going to look to get some serious protection out of this thing. I think we are good to go. Let's get ready for battle. Where are we at? Got to go to the play button, hit the gauntlet, jump on in. Poppy in, Scouts in, Sivir in. All right, let's do the battles. And so yeah, that's kind of the idea. We're expecting all three, or all out of the 3 decks from our opponent. They're probably going to bring in some kind of Gnar. And of course, opponent number 1 here just does not do it, which is a little bit challenging for us. I think we want to keep the mirror match in with the scouts. And so I want to keep their scouts deck in. I think this Zilean deck tends to be a AoE heavy control deck style thing. And so I want to stay away from that because I feel like we might be able to pick on Zoe a little bit. We have the sharp sights in our deck. We have all of the challenger birds across all of the decks and all the Petrosite Broadwings. I think Zoe is something that we can interact with a little bit better than the dude bringing the AoEs. So we'll take the Zilean Echo out. And then let's start. Who do we want to start with? Let's do it with Lucian Sivir. All right, opponent coming at us with Zoe Aurelian Soul, and so a pretty reasonable start here. I do like the idea of Stony Suppressor against these Zoe decks. It really pops off on their ability to play super cool star charts, but we need to keep a bit of the question here. I should say I think comes down to we want to hang on to Lucian because the way this game is going to sequence is we can't actually interact with their Zoe until turn 4. And so I think we'll let Lucian go, see if we can't pick up a sharp side or pick up something that works a little bit better with our curve. Stony Suppressor is mildly interesting. It does make it, of course, more challenging to play the Umbrella from the Penitent Squire, but it can bring some shutdowns in terms of Zoe here. Cat just came in here and took a monster dump. I'm getting I'm getting the vapors. Fucking choice. These cats are amazing. But all right, let's suppress. That does to shut down this Zoe to a degree. And I think if we just make all of the star charts cost 2 additional mana instead of costing with like leaving the suppressor behind, I think this is going to be okay. So it's like we could play Suppressor, Penitent Squire this turn, play Sivir next turn, and then hopefully just keep them locked down and slow to where their cards just aren't as important. Hey, you can play a star chart for 3 now. I'll allow it. Curious what he would have picked up with the Solari Priestess. Again, like the spells are pretty bad here. He can't play any of the spells this turn, but the units start off at costing 5 mana, so he can't play any of those either. Except the Traveler? Okay. Forgot the Traveler was in the mix. I was just thinking, it's usually just the Warrior and the Golden Sisters. But not bad. So the way that this board is set up, he does bring in the Warrior. We can't protect Sivir unless we use the Brightsteel Protector. I was hoping that this turn we were going to be able to play Vanguard Sergeant and then for Demacia next turn. We're going to be a little bit too slow for that. But if we stop and think, like, what does he hook here, right? If he comes in and hooks Sivir, then we can just switch back to the Vanguard Sergeant play. And then if he comes in and just hooks Stony Suppressor, how do we feel about it at this point? Because we do have the Brightsteel Protector we could use to protect Sivir. I think I'm okay with just letting her die. Also, I think we're okay to just pass. Yeah, he goes for the Protector. I was going to say, if he, like, some of the downside to coming in on Sivir here is he does lose the Warrior in the process. Okay, so if we had a 1 mana play, we could add it, but it's not in the cards. So we'll look to just open with the 4 Demacia and see if we can't blow him out next turn. Does Bannerman change anything? I don't think so. We can use him as kind of like the follow-up for if this goes poorly. Stats. Stats are everywhere. Ooh, that feels kind of choice. If he doesn't have a great play here and he's already just dropping star charts, I like it. Okay, nice pickup. His blocks here are still pretty terrible, and then we're coming in for 17, so we're not going to be able to flip a Sivir this turn. Let's still attack with her at the end, just to act like we can do it, but this should be a big blowout of his cards. Okay. So we should still be in a pretty good space here. It looks like he's thinking of opening with a hook onto Sivir. And we just have great ways around this between the Golden Aegis and the Brightsteel Protector. Even if he opens onto Sivir, we should still be following up with pretty good attacks. I think I want to lead with the Brightsteel Protector. There's just like such an incentive for him to hook in the Stony Suppressor that we might get to follow up with an additional unit here. Sure. Hope he didn't kill the Suppressor. That's not very kind. Okay. Alright, then Sivir's definitely flipping off of this attack. She's got the spell shield, she's got the quick attack. Everything's going to be completely fine here. Don't have to worry about losing our Suppressor because it has barrier, and then we're going to quick attack through all of these other bros. Takes him to 3. Really surprised if he's not pushing anything in front of Sivir. She's just the biggest chunk of damage here. Okay. Get them keywords, friends. And then we're just going to look to open next turn, right? Say we come in with everyone, he blocks Sivir, he blocks a... it's just like, well, I guess we can add like a literal ton of damage with the Bannerman. That's probably the safe way to go about this. I really don't want this turn to like happen and then opponent plays a Star Shaping to heal through it and we have to go for another turn with him potentially flipping Zoe. And so let's just slam a shitload of stats on the board. He can do the same thing with like Crescent Strike, which kind of sucks, but if he has to like Star Chart into Crescent Strike, that's 7 mana, and we should just be able to kill with our remaining bros. Alright. Took down Zoe. So we'll be on with our Scouts deck now, right? We got Quinn Misfortune ready for battles. It is a little awkward with this as we come out here just expecting literally everyone to be playing Gnar and then just not having a not having a Gnar show up from our opponent. But I feel at least pretty decent in how the matchups here have turned out. The Stony Suppressor has been fantastic. I don't suspect that they'll be anticipating Stony Suppressors coming out of this deck as well. Not bad. Got a nice little Zoe interactive package here, starting with the Fleet Feather Tracker into the Warden. If for whatever reason we had to, we do have the Sharp Sight to potentially block her. But the downside to this is, you know, the Suppressor is our big disruptive card that really shuts down what they're trying to do. So it's a little unfortunate to not have any. Fantastically powerful curve, nonetheless. All right, let's get the Warden in. I don't feel like this is a deck that's going to be like playing tons of units that interact with this stuff positively. Oof. Oof, friend. Gonna be booming hard. So how do we want to go about this? Like, I'm not like 100% familiar with the cards that they're going to be dropping on us. We do have like some argument to say drop the Broadwing and then go for Bannerman. And that gives us a little bit more interactivity as opposed to dropping Misfortune and then going for it. Right, so we would have like 2 challengers instead of just 1, and then one of our challenger just aces the unit that he already has on board. I think that that's okay. We'll just go with the Broadwing. I guess the other angle we could look towards is just go ahead playing Misfortune now and having the mana for Sharp Sight. Kind of like that. And then we can just drop the Bannerman next turn. Okay. So we'll have this is still a pretty potent Sharp Sight for us, letting us take down the Traveler while only losing 1 unit this turn. Hey, it looks pretty good. Stony Suppressor makes his appearance. I think you're, well, I thought you were going to be a little slow for this game, but now it is pretty tempting to drop a Make It Rain. Just take Zoe out of the equation. And I mean, if his turn is just to like replay Zoe, I think that's completely fine. Yeah, we annihilate Bastion here. Might have done it. Interesting. And the Golden Aegis? Okay. Let's lead in with Bannerman. Well, we probably don't even need to, right? If we just open. Like, we're lethal here. And then if he starts doing stuff, we can follow up with Bannerman plus Aegis. But we got the Misfortune blasting onto the Charger. The Zoe blocks are all terrible. I think this is great. This game should be done. Just a matter of time. Boom it. All right, the first victory is ours. Match has been won. Bust is feeling fantastic. All right, catching the victories. On to the next one. All right, man. It's just it's completely off base. Just literal no one playing playing Gnar today. That's awkward and insane at the same time. But kind of the same deal as the previous one. I feel like I'm okay with all of these decks battling against Teemo. We have the Sharp Sights. We have all the challengers. The one I'm actually worried about here is the elites. I feel like this is something that could probably go a little bit bigger than us. And it's like odd seeing this Spellslinger style deck without ways to give Lee Sin overwhelm. And so I think the elites are the one for us to ban. He bans our scouts, and then let's just start off with Sivir again. All right, Reckless Pat, bring in the Teemo in. So what do we got going on here? This is a pretty powerful early draw. I think we can just hang on to all of this. The downside again to these kind of hands are we can't stop the Teemo until after turn 3. And so if he opens with Teemo on us here, he might cause us some problems. Oh, it's just a lie, right? We have the Broadwing. Not bad. No, it's not. It's our attack token now. He can get. This is where I was getting at. He can get the hit in here, and it's slightly awkward. If he passes, I'm playing Suppressor. I think we still want to play the Suppressor. This is a pretty good block. This is the way I look at a lot of these decks in terms of like playing up against Gnar, right? We got just the value hit on his unit, and then now if he wants to clean up the Stony Suppressor with a Mystic Shot, he's going to have to spend 3 mana in the process. Just a real pain in the dick to have to do. So what's his play here? I think we have to lead with the Broadwing. I'm really wanting to just add the second Suppressor, but it feels like a little worrisome if we don't put any interactivity on the board. And this is what I was hoping for, was that the Clump of Wumps would come down. I was expecting that that would be a play like last turn. It seems better, just more mana efficient to play at the previous turn.
We made it.
Losing our Bannerman. Sad. Sad day.
Really.
Okay. But we kind of just have it all next turn. We're not going to be playing this this Brightsteel Protector, unfortunately, but we can play the Penitent Squire. It's going to generate the Tattered Banner, and then we could Tattered Banner Lucian, and that'll make us feel pretty decent about like throwing units away and stuff here as well. We ran into this kind of problem a bit in our previous video, to where we only draw like our width and we don't draw any of our boosters, right? We had one booster in terms of our Vanguard Bannerman that we just lost, but this is like one of the big weaknesses to this style of deck. If we just have all of these like 1-power bros on board, and then no way to come in and make them stronger. But we have triple challenges. We're fine to just start losing some units here. Okay, all in all, pretty powerful. Ooh, the 3-mana Mushroom Cloud. Look out. We got to emote with them. Bring in the kitty cat. All right, then we'll leave the space open on our board. We'd rather be playing Bannerman like this, Cytherias, whatever. I don't want to have to overwrite units if we don't need to. Ugh, you fucking kidding me? That's twice. This board would be so bonkers if we had the Bannermans going. Alright, we can overwrite for Vanguard Sergeant. Dropping the, I mean, shit, do we even want to? I think we're okay to overwrite, just in terms of, we can kind of improve our board, but this isn't going to be a 4 Demacia turn, right? We can cast it, we have the mana to do it, but it doesn't come close enough to winning the game, and we already ace his board well enough, so I think that we just kind of keep it as is. Dropping Cytheria is moderately interesting. I want to keep her for like an open next turn, though. Nope, wrong one. Let's come out here and win all the combats. Lucian's getting somewhat close to flippy time. There is a world where we should have tried to set that up a little bit, but I think it's a little dangerous. I'm happy enough with him being a quick attack challenger that our opponent has to pay special attention to. I think the potential for flipping is okay as kind of an afterthought. Was that a 3-mana retreat? Now he can, a 4-mana retreat. Now he can play the 3-mana return. Pretty nice. Start dropping these 3-mana mushroom clouds while you're at it. Brings in the peddler, sure. We need. Is this a good point to where we should like consider upgrading our units? Well, probably not. We're just into dropping 4 Demacias now. So we definitely get to Ace's board this turn. And then if he starts adding like small plays, it's pretty like Teemo's not going to be blocking this turn. But I guess the thing we have to consider is, do we get to lethal aim? If we say hook, we're pretty far away from lethals. We probably just have to take this Teemo down to be safe. Right, the idea here is we could have like hooked his 4/4 down here to the right, let Teemo be like kind of a blocker, then he would only have 1 down here to the left. Looks like he still could have just blocked everything though. Sure. Double sure. Who's going to get in that one Teemo boom, and then we should be able to lethal right away. A little scary. I mean, the Teemo is going to be flipped. The downside for him is we're only at 15 puff caps, and spells are currently expensive. Spending 3 mana on a mushroom cloud is not ideal. Of course, we just draw the sharp sight. Of course, that's the way professionals do it. So in terms of a sharp sight block here, we want to just play it on something cheap. So if he has a homecoming or something, we can come in and just like replay our stuff fairly easily. Oh shit. Oh shit. That could be bad. Well, I guess he's not going to be replaying stuff, but we're going to get double boomed by the Teemo here. Oh man. The classic squeeze your butt cheek scenario. Classic. Oh man, so we're going to go up to 60-ish or 70-ish, however that plays out. If it just doubles, it goes up to 60-ish, which we should be pretty okay with. That's only like 2 damage a turn. Oh, snap. Just pick up the Lucian, huh? And he's tapped out. Nice. Nice. Boom it real hard. Excellent, excellent. Okay, the Sivir deck is victorious again. Let's see who he brings to the party, whether or not it be the Teemo or be the Lee Sin. But we are certainly ready with Poppy Jarvan. Oh, that is not a ideal start. I think we may want to get rid of the Vanguard Defender as well. Just, I really want a Challenger, or I really want a Sharp Sight. So I think we can just full hand Mulligan here. Much better. Much better. No Stony suppressors so far, though. Opponent is dodging the suppressor bullet. Oh, this is unfortunate. Not going to have a great play here. Got to save the protector for next turn. So we still get to build up our board, but this is a little bit far off of game plan. We drew quite a bit of expensive stuff here between all the Jarvans and the Cythrias. But let's punch in the damage. Sure. Interesting. It's such a mana investment in all of these retreats. Okay. So we should be okay-ish in the face of Nyandroid. If he drops like a Poppy, or not a Poppy, if he drops a Teemo or something here, we're going to start getting a little scared. It's just like, I really want to have a play next turn, and we just don't have a play. And so, a little awkward for Team Bust here. Tastes like burning in feet. The fuck, Nyandroid. And a Broadwing. Okay. I'm not completely opposed to making a Golden Aegis attack this turn. And so we'll see what he starts to drop and pop off here. This Nyandroid can get up to 4 attack if he plays the Ignition right now. But we'll see what he does. Drops the Stinky Wump. Okay. I don't want to lose our Fleet Feather Tracker. We'll have to just try and get this stuff going with the second attack. But I think this is all well and good. You still get the boosts on your bench if you attack with Poppy. That's one of those importanter things to come in and remember. And I could definitely see us getting in a space to where, I mean, maybe we don't Golden Aegis this turn. He recalls Poppy. Well, now that we're not going to get the bigger impact style plays, I think we're okay with this. But man, we just don't have anything to do with our mana, though. All right. Incoming sad noise. No, we want to do it this way. We want to put the small damage on the barrier unit. So yeah, little unfortunate, but I mean, we get to play Cythria next turn and then open with Jarvan. Jarvan will be flippy, and so we could potentially shut down the Teemos of the future that way. I think that's okay. I mean, that was a pretty gigantic tempo loss for him, sending back the Nyandroid. And I mean, I don't think there's really a world where they pass here, but let's just go ahead and drop Cythria just in case. We still have Sharp Sight mana up if we need to make the bluff onto a elusive unit. Okay. This Teemo never flips, right? We ever just like lethal this turn? I guess that's a fair question. How much is this? Like 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? No, we don't lethal this turn. Okay. Then Jarvan will come down and hook the 3-2. So wouldn't be surprised to see more like retreats or homecomings or whatever this guy's been doing. Might even see a concussive palm or something, but I don't think it's too much to worry about, right? This is like such a slow tempo play for them to be doing stuff like that. I mean, we can still get beat by the Shadows and Dust plus Teemo style play. Like, we don't have an answer to that, but if we make it to our next turn, we should be fine. Does he make one of these things when he comes into play? When you attack, do something, round start, create the Cataclysm. Man, that sucks. There's a very real chance we die to a Shadows and Dust next turn. I guess the Teemo's not quite flipped yet, but a little scary. Let's start with the Squire. Like, the idea is I want to be adding Cytheria this turn. If you get these double Cytheria attacks, it gives Fearsome to your Cytherias. It should make it more challenging for them to block. But have to worry about like a homecoming and that kind of thing here. Right, it's kind of a disaster if he gets to homecoming down our Cytherias. Okay, so what we're looking at here is we have to take the Teemo hit. That's fine. It's only 30 puff caps of damage. We're at like a damage a turn. We're going to play the Cytheria here. Might as well banner you up. And then next turn we'll open. We'll bring in the Jarvan. The Jarvan will hook the Chumpwump. We can hook the 3-2 with one of our other Dum-Dums. Probably look to hook Teemo anyways. Maybe not hook Teemo. Like, I think our chances of winning the game after this upcoming turn are pretty low. And so we should probably just go for the full lethal here. So right, we're looking to just hook a single Veteran Investigator. Jarvan will hook the Chumpwump, and then everything else should go unblocked. So we're going like Cytheria, Cytheria, you're big, you're big. You can come in and hook here. God, we're so close to this space to where we're just like one short again. We fight till we're ragged, Jarvan. Let's do it. So, I mean, if he has a... He doesn't look like he has created cards, so I don't think he can boost the Ballistic Bot. But if he had a way to answer both of our two Cytherias, then the smaller units wouldn't have been enough.
Raise our banners. Demacia prevails.
Demacia prevails. All right. Victorious. Match number 3 incoming. Such a wildly good matchup for that Stony Suppressor. It's kind of wild it didn't turn up there. But, okay, so the kind of the same deals apply here. We're going to let the Gnar deck stand. I think we should be pretty decent against Gnar. That's what our deck's trying to beat. I don't think we want to battle against Galio Soraka. I could see a world where some of that matchup is okay. depending on like the amount of formidables that they have, but they're like pretty good at board control, getting to like pick and choose which of our guys they come in and ace. And I don't think I want to count on as much like Cytherea getting us big wins, as opposed to just probably handling this super spell heavy deck out of Teemo Caitlyn with our Stony Suppressor. So I'm going to ban the Soraka Galio. He takes out scouts. Sure thing. We've been starting with Sivir Lucian. Let's keep it up. All right, puff caps incoming. All right, I like the Suppressor. I mean, maybe this is a full keep. We're on the evens here, so if he opens with Teemo, we can follow up with the Broadwing. The downside here is like not having a 1. Maybe we get rid of Lucian and look for a 1 or some like interactivity like Sharp Sight or something. It's a lot of times awkward with these bannermen and not having like full enough boards, but I think if we just draw like cheap stuff, the bannerman will find a good home on turn 5 or turn 6 or so. We pick up a 1-drop because we're good at the game. You also just need to learn how to get good. There's a realistic chance we can punch for 1 million damage here. So let's add the Broadwing. If he plays like a clump of Wumps and we get to take it down with the Broadwing, it's huge. There's a good chance we get in for 5 damage, which is good. And now we can try and make this Tracker into Suppressor into Bannerman style play, which should be quite powerful. We can take a single hit from Caitlyn.
Well, what have we here? One step ahead. Trap is set.
Okay, so now we're in this space to where the Bannerman makes the Broadwing a 4 toughness. Fuck. Come on. Well, I guess we're drawing Sivir next turn. So brutal. It'd be so far ahead if this Broadwing survived and we're punching in for all this extra damage. Fuck me. 3. We're literally playing 3 non-Demacia cards. Okay. Okay. We'll recover.
Let's investigate.
So how do we want to go about this? We've picked up the Sivir now. I think we have the 2 choices, right? We can next turn play 4 Demacia, and so we could look to say play a Fleet Feather Tracker, play the Vanguard Sergeant, then next turn we make a big 4 Demacia play, or we can look to say play like the Sergeant and the Defender, and then next turn play a banner on Sivir. I'm leaning towards just going big here. Now, I did forget that we have a Stony Suppressor on board, so it's going to be a 7 mana for Demacia, but I think this still works out right. We're going to have 6 mana, and then we'll bank 1. So we'll add the Tracker, we're going to add the Sergeant. Next turn, we're going to just open with 4 Demacia, and hopefully be okay from there. We got 5 Flash Bombs. Okay, that feels pretty good. Are we still on the same game plan? I guess we have to see how the flash bombs hit. If he like flash bombs off a bunch of our... You gotta be kidding me. Oh my goodness. Is it possible to roll higher? Alright, well we're gonna switch to Sivir. So we can play the Penitent Squire. And then we'll Tattered Banner Sivir. That's just actual insanity for low rolls, right? I'm not being ridiculous when I say that. If we come out here, we have 3 non-Demacia cards in our deck and miss our Allegiance, and then the next turn, opponent has 5 Flash Bombs in our deck, and then he hits 2 of our guys. Like, that's literal insanity that things can work out like that. Oh my gosh. Alright, we'll continue to boom. Hopefully this this for Demacia 2 turns from now is enough. Alright, there's a Caitlyn flip. She's only at 1 point of damage right now when she comes in for the strike. Don't think we need to block her. But if we're going to have the option with the Bright Steel. Okay. It's like, do we really need to drop the Vanguard Defender just to soak up the flashbang traps? Two. All right, he aced a unit with that. It's insanity. Just don't just hit the weakest one, right? I had to stop and analyze it. I'm not just being a dum-dum with the way that works. Wow. Okay.
Here's my calling card.
So he still has to block all of our units.
3 times over.
Actual insanity this game has been. Like when these situations come up, I never know if we should just like go out and buy lottery tickets, or if you know today is just not our fucking day, and you just let it go. It's a almost tempting place to just let our suppressor fall. We have 10 mana. I'm most certainly going to play a Golden Aegis this turn. Let's do this. Let's start with the Bright Steel Protector. This should be enough to stop the Peddler from attacking. We can follow up with the Petricite Broadwing. And then start making the rally plays. So here, like, it's a tough space. I think we just do this. He's gonna get 1 trade. The downside to doing this is, like, if we make this full attack, he has to block he has to block 2 units, right, or he just dies. This does give him the option to potentially block the Suppressor with the Investigator, which is a value block, but it does take him to 1 where any unit would then just win the game, and he would have to throw away his Teemo in the process. I think this is okay. He goes for the big damage prevent. And Troll Chant. Okay. So he gets 1 trade, loses his Teemo, keeps a blocker. It doesn't take any damage. Wow. This actual WoW these games. This is the one of the more ridiculous games I've played in my life. So, we have 10 mana. What is the most we can get on board? And also, do we want to play the Stony Suppressor? We're 100% playing Sivir, so we'll have 6 mana on those terms. And then, after we play her, so we could play like 2, 2, and 2. I think that's good.
Hot on the trail.
Approaching the battlefront.
Alright, let's see if he has the answer to Sivir and her spell shield.
Heroes go hungry.
This should be an attack where we get to hook both of his units to the right and then kill with Sivir.
I have
Karina. How ridiculous is this gonna be? Like, it does keep us from being lethal, right? You can now block the Sivir with the Karina. Well, it just means we have to push... we have to have Caitlyn block Sivir, right? Otherwise, she'll kill us with her ability.
Danger pays.
I'll turn the tide.
So this will just take him to 1.
Turning yourself in.
This game has been literally insane. Just, I don't know. I really just don't know in terms of like how wrong things can actually go. All right. Hopefully this Golden Aegis is enough next turn.
Two, three, four.
Mystic Shot onto Sivir. Okay. That's actually really good. Like, he can stop the spell shield, but if he comes in and kills Sivir, it's not that big of a deal. So, like, how willing are we to risk him having having card draw cards, right? That's the place where we run into trouble, is if he makes us draw cards and kill us with puff caps. I think it could be worth the risk, right? We're at 12 puff caps in the deck. We're out of flash bombs, and so we should just be taking like 1 damage a turn. And the other kind of promising thing here is he did just spend a Mystic Shot onto Sivir. He didn't spend the Mystic Shot face. And so I think we might be okay to try and get our 3 units on board between the Fleet Feather Tracker, the Lucian, or the Tracker Lucian, and then have a Ranger's Resolve.
Don't get in my way.
Okay. Fucking insane. Like, I'm not crazy, right? I'm not crazy. That was literally one of like the biggest low roll of the games we've ever had, and we still managed to win. I don't think I'm crazy, and that the quality of the puff cap hits in that game were literally insane. Just like if you got to like pick how the puff caps hit and exactly when you want to do it, that guy did it. All right, same deal as before. Let's hang on to these suppressors. I was hoping to find some interactivity. Maybe we should have just hung on to 1 suppressor and looked for a challenger, but I still at least feel pretty decent now that they've made an appearance. No turn 1 Teemo, beautiful. Okay. Did we just miss our attack? Shit, we just missed a point of damage, didn't we?
News from the Undercity.
Oops.
Detective Zane.
It's all in the report, Sheriff. Should pay off next.
Mark that one in the oops for bust column. little whoopsies. Does that even work? He had 1 mana, but the suppressor makes stuff cost 1 more? Huh. I don't know if I've ever dealt with that interaction before.
Turning yourself in.
Okay, not ideal. Not ideal. I was really just expecting Troll Chance to be the only card they were going to be bringing at us. So let's get 2 units on board, though. Unfortunately, here, like none of these units can block a Caitlyn. I think this is where we're really going to struggle. But if maybe we do it like this, we play the Squire. Oh no, we just made our shit. That didn't work out. I thought we were going to be playing a 3-mana Sharpsight. I was trying to line up this, getting a Bannerman plus the Sharpsight down. but I didn't do those maths very good. Yep. Okay. We just got tempoed out of that one. That was too awkward. Maybe we should have just taken that Caitlyn hit and then tried to get the Bannerman on board. I'm pretty bad about making sure that we get all of the value out of our units, but that one was a little odd. I think we messed up on the mulligan. I think we should have gotten rid of one of the suppressors to look for something cheap or something interactive. And then we would have just been in a little bit better place. But I don't know if we could ever like really force them into coming out and blocking. They were pretty far ahead there. The hand like this, I think we want to get rid of both Bannermen, right? With a start like this, the Honored Lord is realistically a 3-drop. As we can like throw the Squire down on 1 and then the Umbrella Lord on 3. And so let's look for a 2. Didn't find one. Then we won't trade this with his 2-1 when he plays it. Oh, didn't have it? Okay. We'll stop that. I say no thank you. Get out of here, stone stackers.
Years take, experience gives.
Now, how do we feel this turn about not attacking? He plays a unit, so it's not as big of a difference, but we would get to like protect the barrier on the Honored Lord and then still just build up again. That seems like it would have been pretty nice. But in this space now, we're going to be reasonably well set up to double tracker into Poppy. Now that he's added Gnar, we don't have good combats with Gnar. So the question becomes is like, well, we can make him just send the pokey stick to face is what I think is going to be good here. So can we interact with this positively? If we have a Fleet Feather Tracker, a Sharp Sight, and a Poppy, we can take down a Mega Gnar. I think that's okay. All right. This would be such a choice place to have a Stony Suppressor follow-up. But if he wants to flip Gnar, he has to send a Pokey Stick to face. If he wants to take down our tracker, then Gnar won't flip. Okay.
Wouldn't be a quest without some danger.
Conchologist. Okay. So, like, the worrisome thing that we would run into here would be him having a Gnar in hand or the Gnar blast thing, you know, the stun, right? I don't think we can ever just not go for it because our board is just too strong otherwise. But let's get the sharp side in. We're going to hook everything here because our Poppy's too good. It feels like we're missing out on too much if we hold the Fleet Feather Trackers back. But I would say he really wants to spend his 3-mana Gnar thing to get a shutdown here to the right. Oh, interesting. That kind of feels like a maybe win. Our dude still has vulnerable, though, so Gnar will be able to come down and hook him away. So what are we looking at next turn? Are we going to be making a big 4 Demacia play? And if that is our angle, what is the most we can get out of this stuff? We can say, like, play a Squire Bannerman this turn. And that will give us 5 mana. We'll have 2 banked going into next turn. Or 5, right? We'll bank 2, or 5. We'll bank 1. So the next turn we'll have 9 mana, so we can do the Sergeant and the Bannerman. Or the Sergeant and the 4 Demacia. I think that's as good as it's going to get. Yeah, prevent a point of damage.
Where's my axe? Okay, ready.
Interesting. Just eat that Mega Gnar hit. That's actually quite nice, I think. Ooh, a Jarvan. Wow. That was that wasn't the plan, but I think I'm pretty on board with it.
Want to see what it does?
Incoming Gnar stun. But still, I mean, not that bad. We get this ever-growing Poppy. Ooh, is he going to have doubles? It's me to face to 8. Okay. It's a little scary. Like, I mean, I guess he didn't... The kind of saving grace there is he doesn't have any good targets on board to hit with the thing.
I have urgent news.
So we take 2 this way. We could have blocked with Poppy to try and prevent some of that. Ooh, this is scary. This one's getting close. Getting close.
A Demacian soldier is worth 10 foes.
Oh, noes. Oh, noes. Not like this game. No. Is it gonna get us with a lightning rush? Oh, man.
Fall to our standard.
I'm attacking.
In the name of our land. Throw them on.
We're gonna get boomed, aren't we? We have all these impacts and everything to finish off the game, but we're gonna be like 1 damage short. I mean, we could have blocked with Poppy, and that would have prevented another 2 points of damage, but what a disappointment. Come on. The fucking pokey stick to do it. That's sad. I guess that game comes down to, would we have been able to win without Poppy, right? That would have got us away from pokey stick. It would have gotten us away from generated lightning rushes. We don't have to worry about the slow cards like the puff cap 1 damage poison dart. It's just we still died a Noxus blast, and he'd already played 1, and so I don't quite remember how that board landed. Let me pull that up real quick. All right, so yeah, this is what that one came down to, right? We're at 8. He's attacking for 6. He's going to hit us for the 1 next turn because he has the dumb landmark on the board, and so the question becomes: do we block with Poppy or do we block with a 4 health unit? And in terms of like what's going to happen here, it's like so realistically easy for him to just like fill out his board is what is like ultimately frightening to me. It's like we know like the way that this game went was he played Decimate and he played Conchologist, but what if he goes like unit, which is pretty reasonable. He'd gotten to the point to where he's just spending a bunch of mana on like pokey sticks on against a board to where say like a 2/2 is shitty, and so I could definitely see it be a space to where he does actually have a bunch of units in his hand out of those 5 cards. And so the problem with that, though, is so we block with Poppy, we take 0 damage, and then we have to win on this next turn, right? We're never going to overcome this Gnar. And so we would have kind of like 2 ways to go about it. Like once he plays the Decimate, then we can no longer afford Demacia. It's too easy for him to have like an additional Decimate or like slow ways to deal damage or something. We can't just give him time to even just add another unit to the board, right? That's kind of a disaster. If we go into the next turn, we open the 4 Demacia, he plays a 2/1. The 2/1 just gets to block and prevent a giant ass chunk of damage. And so I think Poppy here, the downside, as you could see there with like blocking with a 4 health unit, is we take 2, that takes us to 6. The landmark thing drops us to 5, and then it opens up a little bit more burn paths. I mean, I don't know. That seems pretty thin there. I think I'm still pretty happy with the 4 health unit block. Uh, in terms of like if we'd known that they had decimate, then maybe it wouldn't have sounded as good. But there's just like so many times I think to where they're like, well, here's a Noxus blast and a pokey stick, and that's all I got. And so I think this was okay. I mean, if we had known that he was going to follow up here with both decimate and conchologist, then sure, we would have probably taken a different approach to this. But it does really limit him in what is able to kill us. And see, like, this is what I'm talking about in terms of board. If you switch out this Poppy with a 4/4, then we go to attack next turn. We can hook Meganar with the 3/4. We can hook the 2/2. I'm sorry, we can hook like Meganar with the 3/4. The 2/2 blocks Jarvan, and then if he has like a stun for a 4/4, then are we there? We're still lethal at that point, right? If we replace this Poppy with the 4/4, our middle units might be enough. It would take 2 cards from him at that point, but that's tough. I was just kind of feeling like it's pretty easy for him to be like, well, here's a stun and a stun, or a stun and some other kind of like a stress defense or something, and that makes it like pretty challenging for him to win with Poppy giving out all of the impacts. And so like instead of say he has like a Gnar in hand, and instead of picking up like Pokey Stick or something off of the Conchologist, he picks up a stress defense, then that does stop our attack here. He gets to stun the Poppy. Stress defense 1, only takes 2 damage, whereas the impacts would still get a kill. So I think this is okay, but that's certainly someone better than me could decide on the percentages there. It just feels like a lot of the wins come from the Poppy impact. Curious, I didn't notice on the Pokey Stick if it was already there, or if that was a created one. I guess I would have to see it highlighted to double check, but man, that was an unfortunate one. Alrighty, on to the next set of battles. Man, that feels so bad as well. That's like our Gnar match, and just like none of the stuff came together. We didn't see a Stony Suppressor. We didn't see a Vanguard Defender. We just didn't get to do any of the stuff we were really pushing to do. And here, I think this is a fairly easy ban on Pantheon. That kind of go tall strategy tends to be really challenging for us to deal with. And then we do still have these like Stony Suppressors in the face of the Darkness deck, which should be pretty decent. The thing that I'm like here with this one, though, I think we should probably start Poppy Jarvan. I would prefer to be taking the Sivir deck into the Darkness deck. And if we play like against the Gnar deck with Sivir and win, I feel like this Jarvan deck is going to be less good against Darkness. Kind of half tempted to hang on to this Ranger's Resolve, but I don't think that's going to be quite necessary. It's going to be kind of tough to play. So you end up with some of these smaller boards to where you have to deal with their like early 3/2s and stuff. I'd like to cancel some of that. All right, all the expensive bros come into the party. I guess technically not all bros. We do have some ladies in the mix there. Got some ladies in the mix. Sure. He says, oh shit, Bust bringing out the tech. He says the Vanguard Defender's ready to do battle with the Conchologist. Get in there, boss. Suppressor number 2. Is that something we're ever doing? Like, we can take this hit. What if we just assume that, like, his darknesses are just going to kill all of our units forever, but we make it really hard to cast a darkness because we've got the 2 suppressors and then the Poppy on board. The downside to this kind of thing is if we play the second suppressor and then want to have a sharp sight for Poppy next turn, we can't add the Honored Lord. But I think letting this guy just hang out is kind of okay if we're going to be playing Poppy next turn. Let's just take this. Vhagar comes in. Darknesses cost 5 mana. And so how do we want to go about this now? I think we can leave the Honored Lord back. I feel a little bit better with some Poppy protection, especially now that he's going to be having a 4 damage darkness. Maybe not. Let's just give up on her. We can't. 4 damage darkness just comes in and pops her. Okay. I really want to get this this attack in with her.
I'm no hero, but I'm still gonna try.
That's right. I'm no hero, but I'm still gonna try. He just like has to play darkness here, right? It's so abysmal if we get to attack with Poppy. He can't play Vengeance because it's gonna cost 8 mana. I think we're gonna see like the darkness come in. We protect Poppy with Sharp Sight and get to attack with everyone. Brings in a 7 mana stun. Stuns the whole squad. Okay. I don't think that's horrible. We can still technically... How do we feel about this? Oh, well, she's stunned. Never mind. I was like, well, we can still technically sharp sight her and attack, but that technicality is off base. So how do we feel now? I don't feel awesome about sitting around and protecting her from darkness. It's not enough anyways, right? We just play the Cytherea. Right, he can darkness Poppy even through a sharp sight. Yep. All right, here comes your good friend Jarvan. Jarvan number 4. Ready to bring the thunder and bring the sauce. Get him, Jarvan number 4. Then are we gonna Cataclysm? Oh, we don't have the mana. We'll figure this out at some point when we actually get to play our cards. How do we feel about sharp sighting down Vhagar if he blocks? I mean, we gotta play these spells at some point, right? We only have 1 unit in our hand. Okay. We got some board and stuff. It's so expensive for him to play Darknesses. That's always great. Comes the Ixtali. Okay. Much annoying out of that thing. So he can darkness whatever he pleases, and the scary thing here is that darkness now also flips the Vhagar. But I think like we're good to Bannerman on this, and then we can look to see what he does. Right, his board is now bad in the face of Jarvan. And if we get to, say, like, open next turn, summon a new Jarvan, and then still have the Cytherea, like, weakening up all of his stuff, I think that's going to be fairly choice. Okay, so he's giving up on the darkness. No, oh, it costs 4, so we can still play it. How do we feel about this? If we say Jarvan into the Ixtali. It's going to take him to 15. How much damage can we do next turn? This would be like 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This small guy gets to block Cithria. We're going to have to kill with sharp sights. Okay. That's the more unfortunate outcome here.
Make the darkness your own.
Alright, so we have to deal with Vhagar now. We can't have him just throwing 11 damage darknesses to face or whatever that dum-dum is up to. But can we do it with Honored Lord? No, we can't. Or Demacia! See if he attacks with the Ixtali now. That feels like a win. And Poppy makes the appearance. Alright, I don't know how often this is going to be successful, right? If he... nice. I was going to say, if he has the Vengeance, that's a kind of a pain. But that does, give up their entire turn if they're going to Vengeance Jarvan here. It would be a 8-mana Vengeance. Is going to pop the barrier. I was really hoping to cancel the lifesteal with this. My hopes and dreams are never too big. It should get canceled if we wanted to.
Perhaps they realize they've already lost.
That's right, Jarvan. They've already lost. Perhaps they've realized it. Oh, man. Comes in with the wallop. Okay. Fucking conchologists, am I right?
I just know the hero's around here somewhere.
So, if we make this attack, he's going to get to gain a ton. This is pretty painful. I think we just have to pass here, and we'll get to bank up some mana, we'll get a new Cataclysm, and then maybe we'll be able to use some of these sharp sights to stall through something. Just that attack was not very good. Get our third suppressor on board. Say, enjoy casting your spells today, my dude.
The elements find the living
Jeez.
and the dead.
For the king! With me!
He's got a fresh darkness in hand, ready to come out and cast it. Vile Feast. Sure. Is that okay? Probably not. So he'll get to gain 4 off of this play, but we won't lose our Ixtali. Or we won't lose our Jarvan. Then we can't lethal through this board. We need Cithria to try and lethal through this one. Do you ever want to drop the third suppressor? I don't think so. I think that's probably a bit of a heavy ask. Ooh, Jarvan, that's actually really interesting. If we say Cataclysm, try and take this dum-dum down, might have to, end up playing a sharp sight or something, but if this is successful, that's pretty good. If we get to eat some more spells out of his hand, it's not the worst. And then we just have a backup Jarvan, which can potentially make this attack a lot better. It's like I'm kind of okay with trading Poppy into the Rogue Maker. It just feels like so bad to only be giving the 2 units the bonus. Lightning rushes the Ixtali. Alright. So are we okay with just Jarvan dying and replaying another one? The downside to that one is, like, I want to play Sharp Sight on Poppy this turn. I think we just protect here. And then if he plays his Darkness back onto our Jarvan, then I think that's fine. But this is like a big board control attack here. If we get to attack with everything, he put. I guess he gets to put the Spiderling in front of Jarvan. But I think this is good. Go hard, okay. All right, bring the Stat Squad. Stat Squad, right to the face.
Oh, my dear.
Getting them close to 4. I mean, we're getting to the scary point of the game for opponent to where just like literally everything is lethal, and so even these 1-mana Stony suppressors can do some stuff. Oh man, how cool is this going to be if we boom him with the 3rd suppressor? He doesn't see it coming.
Turn it against them.
What happens if we just play Jarvan here? He'll like attack and get a thing. We probably need to just save him for the open. It's like we're gonna have a really tough time dealing 8 damage, but I'm curious as to like how much he just wants to play Ixtali Sentinel this turn and make an attack with it. We can still just play Jarvan if that's his play, right? If he just drops Ixtali Sentinel, we can fairly safely just play Jarvan.
Anything can be scattered to its elements.
We lose out on our ability to just like hook him next turn, but or get the open hook with him. But if like the downside to this new set of cards is we're gonna have trouble lethaling again. But I think we just have to drop Jarvan, get the barrier block onto the Sentinel. And we can overwrite this one. And we're technically lethal, but he has the Senna to drop a Darkness on one of our smaller units. Okay, well there's a start. Okay.
Getting dark.
So that Darkness is now gone, so we don't have to worry about that acing our unit in combat here. We're probably going to be short on damage, though. We do have this space to where we can play the Broad Wing, hook this dum-dum way down to the right, but it's pretty tough to imagine that he just doesn't have a play here, right? He's got 6 mana. There's no way he's just sitting on, like... I mean, I guess he could technically just be sitting on Grasp of Darknesses and Vengeances that he can't actually cast, but...
I will
fuck. Thing is so annoying. I think we're probably just dead now. That was like this was like our last turn to do anything. Fuck. It's too bad. All right. Well, let's bring the Lucian Sivir back out here. Oh, hang on. Do we want to bring Lucian Sivir? No, let's stick to is it too late? I can't tell if I picked a deck. We did. We're going both of them up against Gnar. So hopefully we can recover here. I mean, we're playing our anti-Gnar deck. Hopefully we can 2-0 Gnar with the things we're trying to pull off with this one. So let's see. I want to find like some more of our like cards we're looking for. I think it's okay to hang on to Lucian, just to make sure that we have a 2. But then we need to find either the maybe we hang on to the Vanguard Sergeant as well. Not quite what we're looking for. Bleak Feather Tracker ready to party though. Say what up, Lucian. Get them guns out. Guns on the ready. Sure. And I would assume that this is the Papercraft Dragon version of Gnar. I think that's what you typically see with the Sejuani. They have the big booms coming from the double strike overwhelms. I'm going to go with the Vanguard Sergeant here. I think their typical angle is going to be like the dude that deals 1 damage to everything and following it up with a Troll Chant. And the Troll Chants here, you know, it puts damage on our units, but he can't like 2-for-1 us with Troll Chant here, and I don't want to just lose Lucian. All right, the booms come in. Building up a nice big board here. He's doing this just for the impact.
One banner, one destiny.
All right, bring the stats on board. Now we'll get to add Cytheria and have a sharp sight combat here. Should be pretty strong. Does Lucian change anything now that we picked up Relentless Pursuit? That feels a little sketchy.
Show them what we're made of.
I like growing all of our units above this Chief Knack attack. And we still have a sharp sight to try and take down the Pterodactyl, or we have a sharp sight to try and push through a lethal. He says, "Oh, Bust, you board so big." I think that's exactly what he's saying. Oh, Bust. You bring the biggest boards of everyone.
Fall to our standard. No room for doubt.
Just shitty blocks abound for this guy. Very reasonable chance that the sharp sight would be lethal. How close is this Lucian to flipping? He's seen 1 die? Yeah. So what do you have to worry about here? If he has like a stun or a 3 sisters, those are all fairly bad. But do we need to even go for the lethal here? Him falling to 1 is kind of nice. It cancels all of his cards like Tusk Speaker. Let's just try and see what happens if we protect Lucian here. It just feels like we're probably going to get hit with a sharp sight. And getting the protection, or not a sharp sight, a Troll Chant. And so we can play around this here. We can. It just feels like going for the lethal isn't quite where we want to be. Okay. Could have played one of those. Could have played one of those AOE everybody things, my dude. Did you think of that? But I'm going to open with the Golden Aegis onto Sivir. Or not Sivir, who are you? Onto Cytheria. Get an all-around great block here for as soon as he wants to attack. All right. Game has been won. Make our way into this final battle. See if our Gauntlet can survive. Turns out we're just playing the same deck. Bring out the old Poppy Jarvan here. Okay, so, like, we're on the odd attacks. I think it might be okay to hang on to Bannerman here. I like to have something, but like we don't. It's kind of a disaster if we don't pick up any mid-game plays the rest of the way. This is just where a lot of our like raw power comes from. All right, we'll just hang on to the tracker.
I ran as fast as I could. Now where would that be?
Okay, I don't like making these trades, so we'll see what comes out of this. I think I'm okay to sharp sight down the stone stacker. We're taking a hit this turn either way. And then it lets us kind of keep up our strategy of not losing board. So it's like kind of ideally we'll be able to play double Fleet Feather Tracker, pass, and then boost them all up with the Vanguard. Picking up, this is a little different now though. Hitting the Honored Lord. The downside to this setup is if he like banks this turn and then just plays Gnar next turn, we don't have a great answer to Gnar, and he's like most certainly gonna flip. But that looks to be what we're running ourselves into here. Maybe not. Gnar. Okay, so with this space, we just have to come out and block Gnar. The new question is like, which of these bros do we want to add? Like, well, we don't actually have to block the Gnar, right? We've already taken the point of damage for the turn. What happens if we just like allow all of this? That seems kind of like a bummer. I think I'm more leaning towards playing the Bannerman so that we can get a 3/3 in front of the Chief. We'll take the 4 hit from Gnar. He wouldn't then flip into Gigantic Dude next turn. But we lose out on our abilities to try and control him with Poppy. All right.
Banner, one destiny.
And then this is always awkward in terms of Poppy when you grow all your units with the Bannerman and then she's a little bit too small to grow the team. What can we do here? We're back to this space to where we're just gonna have to like take the hit from Mega Gnar, but like we can most certainly hook the Chief with the Honored Lord, and then maybe we'll still get something good out of this turn. If we like hook the Gnar with the little bird, get a Poppy attack in, might be okay. Or we can go back to our classic fallback and just throwing down Stony Suppressor, which has one pokey stick in hand. Not completely opposed to the idea. Let's go for the width.
Keep the pace. If you've hurt him,
Stop.
Right, so the Gnar is going to win. There's not anything we can do about that. But you can. I think what we're going to see here is he's going to play the pokey stick onto the Fleet Feather Tracker here. That's coming in on the Conchologist. Oh, wow, he doesn't. Interesting. Interesting. don't have to worry as much about getting burnt out from this guy's deck as we did in the previous round. So if we take the 7, just fall to 6. Say he plays like a Transformer that does 1 to face. You can follow up a Suppressor and Poppy, and then get a Sithri attack in next turn. It might be close. It might be close.
Carved from the
Sejuani is quite nice.
Soldiers, to me!
He's just going for the lethal here. So we gotta play Cithria so we have a reasonable-esque blocker. You fall to 4? How close is she to flipping? This is gonna take her up to 4 ticks. So if he has like 2 burn spells, then he can frostbite our whole team next turn. But there's no blocks that we're making here. Let's fall to 4. Okay. And then the Bannerman's just better than Poppy now, right? He has more stats, and he's going to still boost our whole team.
Raise the banner! Lift our spirits! Show them our mettle!
It's very, very frightening when they spend a no mana on the turn. I'm not really amped to see that, but let's see where this turn gets us. Be a little bit short of lethals, and he's most certainly gonna play at least one spell here, but are these really just burn spells going to face? Like, what's he pokey sticking here? This pokey stick is not good. This has to just be going face, right? I guess he could be pokey sticking the Bannerman to take it down in the face of the Tusk Speaker. Oh my god, they're going face. Oh no, he has the Sejuani flip. Fuck. Okay. Oh, that's horrifically bad. I didn't see how these came about, but has this like literally been his 4th pokey stick of the game? Insane. Alright. That's gonna do it. Man. That was tough. That's tough. I think like the place where this is kind of like faltering is like I don't know. I don't have the answer to what is strong against this Gnar. I feel like we went I think in like the previous video we might have gone like 1-1, and then this one we went like 1-2, and so it might be kind of like a slight favorite. But the ultimately like the big problem we run into with like Gnar himself is having a way to come in and just like blocking. It's just like so impossible to do in this format. It's just the amount of versatility you get in playing number 1 Gnar, which is just like such an incredibly strong unit on the attack. He generates a pokey stick, which is just one of the best value cards in the game. He flips into just a completely ridiculously sized unit, doesn't lose quick attack anywhere along the way, and then applies vulnerable somewhere, in addition to playing with the likes of Conchologist to just generate whatever spell you need at any given time. Like it is so incredibly challenging to deal with that level of versatility and just like raw card power strength. Like I still suspect that as the next like balance patch rolls out, there's going to be a pretty large nerf to Gnar and probably a nerf to Conchologist as well. But in terms of just like dealing with it now, I mean, I don't know if there's a better answer than to just play it yourself. I don't feel like it's to the level of degeneracy that you would see out of like not Ari Kennen. Ari Kennen was pretty degenerate, but the Azir Irelia decks, like I don't think it's up to that level of it, but I think it's certainly in need of some level of tuning, and so It's tough. I think we did get ourselves, like lined up right to the spot we were trying to be, as to where, we might lose to one of their matchups, but we have two really good matchups into Gnar. And I suspect that that's what you would see out of like a lot of gauntlets, and more so as you go and jump into tournaments. I think you'll very frequently see people saying, "Oh, Gnar is just the best archetype in the format." I'm most certainly bringing Gnar, and then you can look to 2-0 it with an extremely similar deck list. I haven't like caught up quite enough to the current level of constructed from where we just played Expeditions forever. It's going to take me some time to catch up on the metagame and everything, but I'm sure some people have kind of approached it that way in the past, and this isn't some kind of new concept that we're bringing forth here, but I think it's something incredibly strong to look at, especially as these early week gauntlets come about and people are playing all of the new cards in the early week gauntlets. I think it's pretty reasonable to expect that across your your 4-win matches, you'll play against Gnar every time. And so that's what we were looking to take advantage of. Didn't take advantage of it as much as I'd have hoped to today, but we had some fun nonetheless, and that is going to do it. So hope everyone had a good time watching. You really soaked in and enjoyed our first Gauntlet video, and you had a good time while you were at it. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.